So we just had a very interesting Forged in Eternum. We learned what we're going to get in New World up through May of 2024. We received kind of a partial roadmap, if you will, with the promise to receive the full roadmap in May whenever the developers make a big announcement of some sort. But we're going to quickly go through what the Forged in Eternum had to offer, what we're going to receive as far as content goes up until May of 2024. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you guys kind of where I think New World's headed, my prediction for the big announcement in May, and really what I hope we get coming into the game in 2024. I would also really love to know what you guys think about the current state of New World and the future moving forward. Where do you think New World's going to land? What do you think we're going to get in 2024 and the latter half of 2024 rather? Do you think it's going to be big? Do you think it's going to be big enough to really revitalize the game and make it a massive MMO? Or do you think New World's just kind of gonna keep coasting as it's been doing? But let's jump in here. Let's talk about what we received in the Forged in Eternum. So again, no full 2024 roadmap, but they are promising a very big year. They're going to give us the full roadmap in May, and they committed to giving us everything we're going to get for the rest of the year in May as well. So right now we are currently in season 4. Season 4 is going to carry us to February. There's about 80-ish days left in season 4. Whenever we get to February, we'll be moving on into season 5, and season 5 will be from February to May. So from February to May, we are going to get cross-world expeditions with improved group finder. That is coming. So this is a one-click group finder. You're not going to be linking your gear, etc. And the goal is to get players into the content very quickly. So basically, you're going to choose your role and you're going to be queued into an expedition with a group. You're going to receive extra rewards for playing the harder to find roles like a healer or a tank. I personally think this is going to be a really good quality of life addition to the game. Yes, there's going to be some frustration whenever you queue into a really bad group, but that happens now anyway, even whenever you have people link gear. So bear in mind, this isn't something you have to use. You can still put together pre-made groups. You can still have people link gear so that you can have a little bit more control over your group versus the one-click group finder getting thrown into a random slot. We are also getting 8 new artifacts. So they did confirm another great axe called Tempest Fury. You can spin for an extended duration with the Whirlwind ability. We're getting some new gauntlets. So as you use them, your heavy attacks become more powerful. So you're basically going to get stacks of empowerment that's going to make your heavy attacks hit a whole lot harder, and it's going to work with ranged and melee. We're getting a 10-person season trial, the Winter Rune Forge. This is going to be similar to the Hatchery. So they claim it has quite a few mechanics and it's going to require teamwork to complete. They said it's very mechanic rich. So the rewards are going to be better for this trial versus what they were for the Hatchery. Instead of receiving rewards every 7 days, you're going to either receive them daily or every 3 days. They said they learned from their mistakes with the Hatchery. They want to increase the value of the 10-person season trial. All of the season events are also coming back, like the Rabbit's Revenge, the Crassus event, Springtide Bloom, everything that's going to be there within that time frame from February to May. And if you're interested in those events, you can of course go to studioloot.com and read all about those if you've never participated in one before. We are also finally getting the main story completed. They have completely revamped and updated the main story, and that's going to be completed in season 5. So if you want to roll a new character and you're interested in New World at all, the story that is, that would be the time to create a new character and run back through the story. I am actually pretty happy that's finished. I probably will roll a new character just because the story has been so all over the place. You really can't follow it. I would actually like to know what's going on in Eternum and understand the story from the start to finish. That's been almost impossible because they keep going back and revamping parts of the story. And now finally it'll be completely done. So if you're interested in the story, you can go back and create a character and hopefully get the entire story from start to finish without it completely being just scuffed every patch. And then the really big thing that they announced is coming in with season 5 is full gamepad support. So they said this is going to be version 1. It's going to continue to improve. However, this comes with a lot of controversy within the New World community. So they said that gamepad support or full controller support is also going to include lock on and aim assist with the controller. They said UI is also changing to support the controller. So that's pretty interesting. We're going to have to wait and see how that shakes out. I'm not so sure how I feel about that, but I know there is a lot of conversation happening about that particular thing within the community right now. So I'd love to know what you guys have to say about that as well. Then, of course, they said there's going to be a lot of performance improvements, bug fixes, and combat balance coming in with Season 5 too. So ultimately, where does that leave us? Well, we have Season 4 with 80 more days up until February. So we're not really getting anything until February. Whenever February lands, we are getting cross-world expeditions and an improved group finder, which is a really nice quality of life change, but it doesn't add any additional content. We're getting the season trial, the Winter Rune Forge, which is a new 10-man trial, which is going to be nice. That's going to be fun, but it's not a really big, substantial piece of content. We're, of course, getting the season pass rewards, which we get every season. We're getting 8 new artifacts. That's great as well. I don't know about you guys, but I honestly get a little bit tired of chasing all these artifacts. They are nice, and it is fun to put together new builds with these artifacts, but getting 8 new artifacts into the game isn't really going to change a lot of people's day-to-day activity. Go farm the artifacts you want, you'll put together your build, and then you'll basically be done. We are getting a main story quest that's fully updated. I know from experience streaming, a lot of people have a zero interest in going back and creating a character. I probably will actually. I think that'll be fun to play through it again, just to know what the story actually is in Eternum. That'll be kind of interesting to me, but I know a whole lot of people are not interested in doing that at all. And then we, of course, are getting the seasonal events, which we all know what those are. And then Gamepad support, which is a big deal for the game, but doesn't provide any additional content either. So ultimately, that leaves us very content dry for a lot of people that have been playing the game for a while. If you're a brand new player, then I think this is a great time to jump into New World. But for a lot of us that have been playing the game for a really long time, this doesn't really add much for the game at all in terms of content. So I fully expect New World to have a pretty big dip in population, if I'm being perfectly honest here. I think it's going to dip down quite low until May. And then in May, I hope we get a really big announcement. However, I think what we're going to get is a big announcement in some form or fashion, but maybe not the announcement that a lot of us are hoping for. I think in May, we are going to get an announcement that states that New World is going to be put on console. That is my prediction. All signs point to that, obviously with Gamepad support, the reworked UI, and a lot of the other hints they've been dropping for us. I think New World will be put on console in May, and I think that's going to be probably the really major announcement. Now, that's going to be great. If they do cross-play, if they do cross-save, I think that's the way you have to do console these days. You want to be able to play on your PC and then go over to your PS5 or whatever console you have and jump on your account and still continue your progress. I think that is excellent. I think it'll bring a lot of new people into the game. But again, it's not going to be a lot of content for us. Now, that is sheer speculation. I have nothing to go off of there. I have no idea if it's actually going to console or if that's going to be the announcement. That is just what I think the major announcement is going to be. I would love to know what you guys think the major announcement is going to be, but that's what I think it'll be. The roadmap, though, I hope has a lot of other good things on there. So my hopes are that we get at least one new OPR map. That would be fantastic. And I think that's realistic to think that we're going to get an OPR map in May. The game's been out for a really long time. People have been screaming about getting a new OPR map. I know they hear that and see that. So I would be very surprised that if in the latter half of the year we don't get a new OPR map. Then my biggest wish of all, if you've watched my stream ever, you'll know what I'm about to say, is that they rework the atrocious territory control system in the game. I really do think it is one of the worst systems I've seen in an MMO, and that might be sounding very, very harsh because it is. I think that system is so bad. That is the end game of New World, and it is not a very good end game. There is no loop there to speak of. It's very heavily gated unless you play the game all the time. A lot of people coming into the game are going to play New World. They play it for a long time, they reach in game, and then they realize there's no loop, and then they leave, which is why New World has a very bad player retention problem, and it most definitely does. The numbers show this. Every time we have a big patch, the numbers spike up, and then it loses a tremendous amount of players. I think that is normal to some degree, but I think it's a little bit exaggerated for New World because there isn't anything there to keep players continuously logging in once you reach a certain point in your gameplay. There is just not. So I really hope, that is my hope, that is what I would love to see come into the game. They have reworked every other aspect of the game except for that. And that aspect of the game is massive, though. It touches every part of the game. And whenever I say territory control, I'm not talking about wars. I'm talking about everything else it touches. Invasions, for example, is another part of that. There isn't anything there in territory control that really ties factions into the game. Factions in New World mean nothing at the moment, if we're being honest. It is a company-driven game. So I hope that at some point they either rework it to be a faction-based game or just get rid of factions because they mean nothing. We'll see. That's my hope. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what the announcements are, but that's what we're getting. We're getting these things up until May, which isn't a lot of substantial content for a lot of people that have been playing for a long time. And then in May, we're supposed to be getting some huge major announcement and a roadmap for the rest of the year. But those are my predictions. Those are my wishes. If you're interested to know what I really think about territory control and some of my ideas for that system, I'd be happy to post a video that goes a little bit more in depth there. Let me know in the comments and we could make one of those at some point. But those are my wishes. I would love to know what you guys think New World's going to do for the latter half of 2024. Do we think New World's going to maintain a decent population from now until May? Or do you guys think it's going to fall off? Because that's what I think, which I think is a fair assessment. I'm not rooting for New World to fail by any stretch. I will be here still playing New World and creating content for New World. I love New World. I want it to succeed in every sense of the word, but I do get a little frustrated when we get stuff like this dropped on us. This is, I'm sure, took a massive amount of work to get Gamepad support, to rework the UI, the cross-world expeditions, and improve Group Finder. All of that stuff is excellent, but it doesn't really add a lot of content for us to really change our gameplay on a day-to-day basis. So I think because of that reason, the population is probably going to decline. And then whenever May comes around, hopefully we'll get some really, really great news and hopefully a really fantastic roadmap to carry us to the end of the year to drive a little bit of hype back into the game, because that's what I ultimately really want. I want New World to succeed. That's going to do it for this one, boys and girls. I would love to know what you guys think about all of these situations down in the comments below. So please let me know. We'll have a conversation about it. But thank you guys again for watching. I greatly appreciate it. If you enjoy New World and continue to enjoy New World content or plan to stay, please make sure to like and subscribe. I'd appreciate that as well. We'll have more New World videos coming out here on the channel, of course. And then, of course, we do stream over on twitch.tv/BDLG and right here on YouTube every single Monday and every single Friday at 8 o'clock a.m. CST. That's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.